Food. That's an obese subject, okay? Food causes the same brain changes that heroin does. And we have a separate talk on eating disorders that I think will be given next spring. Yeah. Now the first time I heard this, I thought this was some kind of religious statement. You'll hear people say that they're cross-addicted. And what this means is that they have become abstinent from one addiction and flipped over to another, and they will sometimes flip back and forth or move on to another one. And we give this a fancy name, we call it addiction transfer, but it's cross-addiction, that's what it means. Typically, when you have an alcoholic who becomes abstinent, they gain weight, they start eating, they gamble, they get involved in pornography, they get involved in sex, they'll destroy their marriages, and it's very common if they are not really involved in a recovery program to go out and cause more damage than they did when they were drinking. People who have gastric bypass surgery, which is a way of kind of clamping down on eating addiction without treating it, will typically become addicted to alcohol, opiates, or sedatives. And I work down at the Detroit Medical Center, and my most common consult is pregnancy, because I'm an OB-GYN. But my second most common consult is the bariatric service, trying to treat someone who had bariatric surgery, lost 150 pounds, and they can't get them off their Dilaudid. It's a very common occurrence. So we briefly mentioned abuse. What is abuse? Let me give you an example. So you have a friend who drinks too much, and she's been drinking for 20 years, and she just found out she has high blood pressure and her cholesterol is up, which we're going to mention in a few minutes, and you advise her to quit because you are now an expert in addiction. And you have been to the Don Farm lecture, and you know that she can't quit because she has addiction, but you're going to advise her to go to Brighton or something. And surprise, she quits. She never drinks again. And your response to this is, I'm never going to go to one of those damn talks again. They don't know what they're talking about. Okay? So what happened? What's going on? This is somebody who had alcohol abuse, which is simply a behavior, a risky behavior. And I'm sure all of you know, and those of you who went to high school, college, professional school, you all know people who drank too much, used too much, and then when it came time to stop, they just stopped cold. And you also know people who could not stop, okay? And that's what separates the abuser from the alcoholic. And abuse is the other half of the new DSM-5. You don't fulfill your work obligations. You use in risky situations. You drive drunk. You have recurrent legal problems. Now, a lot of addictionists, including myself, disagree with this. We feel if somebody has more than one DWI, it means they have driven drunk probably about 500 times. And I think that kind of escalates into something beyond simple abuse.